stakeholders input, process, and the output. As I told you, in management, initially we used to this only three component, that is the input, process, and the output. But in the healthcare sector or now in the management, in terms of the Six Sigma and all that, now we are using this model, that is the CPOP. And after this model, we talk some management model in the healthcare also. This is as per the chapter actually. So if we see the one model that is developed by the psychologist Kurt Lewin in the 1940, and the model is the three-stage model, that is the management of the change. When some changes in the organization is needed, how it is going, how it is supposed to be managed, how it is supposed to be implemented, and how it is supposed to be controlled. So he has given the three stages. One is the unfreeze stage, second is the change stage, and the last third stage is the refreeze stage. Now we have to see what as an administrator, what we have to do, what we have to think in the unfreeze stage. Suppose you want to change something in the hospital. You can take an example of the hospital. If you have any idea or you want to tell something about this, any change, if you give, suggest any change, I can take that change and I can explain in terms of this Levin Court model. Okay. In any case, if I give you one example, I will start with one example. Suppose we want to implement electronic health record in the system. Nowadays, we see it is very cumbersome to maintain the physical record also, and if we rely our dependency on the physical record, sometimes it may not be available, or sometimes it may give some kind of incorrect information or the incomplete information. So that's why we try to implement electronic health record in our hospital system. Now, this is so this change we want in the hospital. Now I'm explaining this change how we are going to implement in the organization. The first step, what I have told you, that is unfreeze. Unfreeze means prepare for change. No, I want if somebody can tell, prepare for change. Mein what do you think? What do you suggest for implementing electronic health record? How do you start this phase? Prepare for change. If you understand all these things, you don't need to just mug up the things. You can implement this practical aspect in the practical scenario also. So it is always better to think upon that. Ki how do you think how you can prepare your hospital or the staff for this change? Unfreeze this stage, electronic health record. क्या क्या करना पड़ेगा? Anybody
Hello,
who
sir.
can tell? हाँ हाँ.
Sir, first of all, we have to understand the level of staff. हमें उन्हें जो सॉफ्टवेयर वी आर चूजिंग वो अकॉर्डिंग टू हमारे हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ के हैं. सेकेंड थिंग वो इजी होनी चाहिए. उसके अकॉर्डिंग हमें स्टाफ को जो है एक्सप्लेनेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड्स करनी होंगी.
Very good.
एंड फिर उसके बाद सर उसकी SOPs एंड हाउ टू यूज रेगुलर ट्रेनिंग के साथ हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं.
Yes, you have told
Thank you, sir.
many points very correct. First, actually, you have to identify your correct situation. What she has told, Kavita has told. कि first हमें current situation देखना, whether we are able to take this kind of change in the organization or not. So we have to assess that things. Okay. Then whatever the things are required for this change, unfreeze stage. I'm talking about unfreeze stage. We have to identify the need. We need some training, as she has told. We have to use some user-friendly software which can be easily understood by the staff. We have to create some kind of awareness, that is a leadership skill. We have to create some awareness among the staff why this electronic health record is needed, what is the need of this electronic health record, and how it is going to benefit the organization. Okay. Still, there may be some resistance there are few staff who may not be very inclined for this change of the electronic health record. If you see in the hospital and somebody is working in the hospital, if you tell some doctor to write it on the computer, maximum resistance is being shown in that area. They hesitate to write them because of the time or because of the lack of practice, whatever it may be there. But now because of the technology, it all things can be addressed. Now the system, they can translate your voice. If you are giving some voice command and all that, they all can be translated into the prescription format. So that is the technology. So we have to see that resistance also. And after seeing the resistance and addressing the resistance in a leadership role, every time we have some kind of a goal or something objective which we have to communicate. And the second stage, that is the implement the change. That is the second part of this theory. We do some pilot program. We provide some kind of support system. We frequently communicate our staff. If there is any problem, we give some kind of on job training and all that. We take the feedback also in this implement part. The staff, what in staff is feeling, is there any, they want to give any suggestions for smooth implementation of this electronic health record, something like that. So they are all the part of this implement part. Now the things are implemented, people are comfortable and all that. Now we should stabilize the change, means very freeze stage. Okay, whatever the pilot program has been created, it is running successfully, and it result was good. So now this pilot program can be implemented in the all areas. Means if want to implement the EHR in the hospital, it is always advised that we should start in some particular department or in some area rather than in the whole hospital. Then it becomes a chaotic. And then you show the what are the outcome, what are the encouraging results of this implementation of the EHR. That gives a lot of motivation to the other area staff, and they also try to use that. Okay, so that kind of thing is there in this stabilizing part of the rephrase part. Standardization we have to do. We have to go into the start the performance monitoring. कि हमारा जो whatever the benchmark we have set for this EHR, electronic health record, what we are supposed to achieve, whether we are achieving or not, all that kind of thing. And in this refreeze stage, we also give some kind of motivation to our staff who is using this electronic health record in a meticulous manner. And continuous feedback is required. Based on that feedback, we can improve our system. Then cultural integration. Lot of people, lot of the in a company, people from the different cultural backgrounds, they are coming. So sometime they have some problem. Their cultural things, something like that. They make them resistance to use the technology as a tool. All that kind of thing. Okay, so we have to address that issue also. तो इस तरीके से we can see with this three stage freeze, unfreeze, and change and the refreeze, we can manage any kind of change in the hospital. So that model seems very simple, but actually this is a very practical kind of model, and very useful model in the hospital scenario. And in day-to-day life in the hospital, you can implement this thing. So these are the basic summary what I have told you. So need not to repeat all these things. Unfreeze, prepare the organization for change. Then what are the activities we are supposed to doing, and then the change, implement wala position. That is the change and transition. What are the activities we are supposed to do, and in the change and transition part, second stage. This is very uh, uh, peculiar problem and a very common problem. That is the rumors and all that. Some people talk about the success. Some people talk about the uh, against the things and all that kind of thing. So you have to address this rumor kind of communication also. Okay, and then this is the rephrase, which again I told you how you can standardize the things and make it implemented in the whole organization. Okay, so this is one model, and this is one model which actually everybody knows. This is a very common kind of model. That is the Abraham Harold Maslow. hierarchy of the need model. Okay, where the model says ki everybody needs some kind of physiological, they have some kind of physiological need that includes the food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, and all that kind of thing. Then second is safety. Everybody wants some kind of safety in the life, in the employment, in the lot of things, in the property and all that. Then third stage is the love belonging, if friendship. They want some kind of good social life, family, and all that kind of things. Good sexual life also. Then fourth stage is the esteem stage, where the people think they become the confident. They start liking achievement. They want to do some significant achievement. They want respect others, and they also want they should also be respected. So that stage is the self-esteem kind of stage. And last stage is that the self-actualization. That is the topmost model when everything below that they are all fulfilled, and then the person comes to this self-actualization stage where he is sadhu kind of thing. If you in the common language we can say कि now the person becomes sadhu, like he is just above the world, nothing make him bad. He doesn't have any kind of greed, he doesn't have any kind of prejudice. He accepts the fact. He is not going to argue too much and all that. He believes in very high morality and all. He is very creative kind of person. So these are the some hierarchy steps which are also exist in the organization. Abhi, now if we see what is the practical implication of this Harold Maslow model in the organization, as we see, if we have some employee, okay, you hire the employee. If you're not able to provide him his basic need, that is a physiological need, if you are not able, whether you are not giving sufficient kind of remuneration, sufficient kind of environmental, you are not able to give him proper food and all that while working, definitely he is not going to be motivated. Okay. Second, आपने hire किया and you are not able to provide some kind of safety, means some employment security or something like that, where he can rely on the organization. Family he can just pull along with the family. He can do the marriage and all that. That's why you see कि after getting the job only and after spend some time in the job, only people think about this marriage and all that. When they got this impulse, now they are able to meet their economic financial requirement after the marriage, then only they go. So that safety factor is also very important in the hospital. So this hierarchy model, Maslow model, is very much practically implemented in this hospital scenario also. Otherwise, in normal life also, for in every normal life, we always something think like that. If we apply this model upon us also, then believe me, most of the person we are also like that. But there are few observation of this. You can say few observations or some kind of critics of this particular model. Okay, so anybody can give any situation where the hierarchy itself it doesn't follow. Means from bottom to top, it is not followed. There may be some kind of variation and some kind of deviations. Okay. Okay, we see some artists. If you have seen some artist, he may be in a very shabby stage. He may have not meals and all that. Means he is not able to meet his physiological need or something like that. But even he wants to create, he creates some kind of art. So where he is at the stage of the self-actualization, where he is not bothered about various physiological and the safety kind of need. He just involved himself in the creativity. So that means that there's nothing like that. If first you have to fulfill all kind of physiological need, then you can climb up to the other stairs. So Mahatma Gandhi is also a very typical example. You have seen he didn't wear any kind of clothes, much clothes on the body and all that kind of thing. But he was at the level where he was aware. where he was able to motivate the people, where he was able to create some kind of agitation or something like that for the larger interest. He was very much able to motivate the people for get freedom from the Britishers and all that. So he was also not able to make his basic need, but even then he reached that stage. In organization also, there are few people. Mostly people they adopt this kind of model, but there are people in the organization also, in the hospital also, who doesn't too much take too much of care. Matlab they put themselves behind the job or behind the objective. That is the also significant thing, and you have to identify such kind of people in the organization, and you can make them motivation and all that, and you can give their example to the other employee also. In the defense sector also, it is something like that, where the individual soldier or the individual officer, they put their life for their motherland. Okay, and they don't think about their physiological need. Ki what about the family? What about the family relations? What about the social life and all that kind of thing? So there are various situations where the exception of this hierarchies also exists, and exactly the hierarchy is not going to be followed. One more very common example, if you see in the time of pandemic, where everybody was scared. I don't know how many of you are the doctor in this particular group, but being a doctor, I am telling you, कि everybody was scared. Myself was also scared. Even then, I was sitting in the hospital and managing the pandemic. I know this thing. कि anytime I might get infected or something like that. But even then, we all the healthcare workers, paramedical staff, we are working in that pandemic environment. What is that? वहाँ पे भी we are just ignoring our safety, physiological, even we do the duty 24 hours, something like that, but taking some 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, all these kind of things. So we have just ignored our this physiological need, basic, all these kind of things, and involved in the big motives and to combat this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. So these all examples are actually existing, and these are the critics of this particular Maslow model. And you know, कि after the critics, there are various other model who try to explain this critics. So there are few other models which you can read yourself. One is the Clayton Elder model, that is the ERG theory, that is the existence relatedness and the growth theory. It is one of also model. One is the CET theory, that is the cognitive evaluation theory. So you can go through that by yourself, and you can see how it bridges the gap. What are the gaps in this model of this Maslow? Okay. So in every model there are critics, and you have to just understand that critics and do the things. Okay. Here there is one more aspect in the organization. These are all the features of organization. That's why it was also all these things are placed in the chapter one. That is the organization, hospital as an organization. Five dysfunctions of any team: inattention of result, avoidance of accountability, lack of commitment, fear of conflict, absence of trust. So wherever the team is there, so first we talk about just we talk about the team, then we can discuss that. Team development ka there is a model that is known as the Tuckman model, and this is also a part of the organization. Okay, so that is why this is also the part of the first chapter. So Tuckman model of team development is the forming, storming, norming, performing, and the observing. In the forming stage, there are few people who are being designated for conducting some kind of jobs or something like that. Then in the and they give some brief introduction about what they are supposed to do and all that. Then the second stage that comes, the storming, means lot of conflict and the power struggles and all that kind of things. Somebody says, I have more experience, I tell the things. Somebody says, I have been the more exposure of this particular problem, I can give you the better solution. So all these things, they happen in the storming kind of phase, where the conflict and the power struggle. And in the third stage, after a certain time, that storming phase is also normalized, and people understand, they start accepting each other. each other weakness also, and same time each other strength also. So now it's a building of the team. When it is not like that, ki, uh, sometimes few people say if some work has been given to them, they want to choose their team. Kini, I want such person in my team. Okay, that approach is one approach, but if you are a true leader, it is your job, it is your responsibility to create a team. You have to develop the team. And by going all these kind of phases, and if you are able to manage these all stages, storming and norming, performing, all that, then you are a true leader. So after this informing stage, things are become normalized. Everybody has have some kind of respect from the other team members. Everybody has some knowledge of the other's strength and the weakness also, and they try to complement each other. Okay, till role has been defined and all that things has been happened, and then the stage comes, that is the performing stage. That whatever the goal has been given to you at the initial stage, everybody starts focusing to achieve that particular goal in a very cohesive and in a very integrative manner. Okay. And the last stage is adjourning. The task is completed and it is going to be recognized, it is going to be appreciated, all these kind of things. Okay. And dire dire normally people they feel motivated, they feel very satisfied after the completion of the job. It may be in form of the monetary kind of recognition. It may be from the point of view of the individual personal appreciable appreciation, some kind of appreciation, some kind of award, some kind of model and medal and all that kind of thing. So that gives a different kind of satisfaction. In the war also such situation happens. When the war completed, war is over, then the people who has performed exceptional, they have shown some kind of exceptional bravery and all that, they are being recognized by giving some kind of seva medal, param visist seva medal, all that kind of thing. So this is also you are supposed to implement in your organization. Means when you are an administrator, you should always keep on doing all these kind of things. Means wherever the your person they are doing the good job, you do the immediate appreciation in the public platform. You always do the appreciation in a public. And if you want to criticize or if you want to do something which is negative aspect of that person, जो उस आदमी का अच्छा part नहीं है, that should be done in the isolation, that should be done in the you can say in the uh, uh, separate place. Okay. After this team, again, problem may be there. Why? The team may every member they are not so keen or interested. Over a period, they lost the interest and all that. So people are not focusing ki what is the goals and all that. And sometimes they involve in their achieving their personal goal rather than the organizational goal. As a leader, you have to identify such kind of people. Then accountability, you as a leader you have fixed some kind of accountability, you have to do this job. But later on, धीरे धीरे टीम में क्या होता है कि one member is very accountable and the other members they become slightly avoid their roles and all that. They, because as they know कि the work is going to be performed in a team, so anybody will do that work. That is a same problem, lack of commitment. That is again the part of that. If they think कि other people are there and they will do the work, so that is again a problem. Fear of conflict also. Many people they think if they start doing some kind of good work or if they start taking some kind of initiative and all that, then it is a fear of conflict. Yeah. फिर absence of trust. Team may over a period, sometimes it also happens if the stage of absence of trust is also come. So as a leader, you have to see all these kind of things and try to address this problem to maintain the team at least till the completion of the job. This is one more model, that is the GRPI model: goals, roles, processes, interpersonal relationship. I'm not going into very much detail about this model. You can just refer your books. This has been given. This is the ADDIE model. This is a one. It's an important model. That is the analysis, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. All the model, if you see into the basic, every model is they are going to do the same things. This is also the elaborated part of the CURT model, that is the three-stage model. Analysis, first you have to identify what is the need requirement, what is the current status. Then you have to set your objectives and all that kind of thing. Then you have to develop, that is a part of this implement part, change part, where you give the training and all that. And this is implement, that is the latter part. And then this is the evaluate, that is the part of that rephrase. So if you see all the model, they are basically they are the same in the if you talk about the result or the outcome, but the way of doing the things may be slightly different. So that you have to understand, at least such few models which can help you in the day to day hospital administration also. If any problem you want to in the hospital, if you can fit it into the ADDIE model, and you can find the solution, and you can think about how you can go about that. Very important model one is that the PDCA model, that is for the quality. Plan, do, check and act. That is also some kind of modification of this ADDIE मॉडल. ये जिसको भी आप देखोगे कि प्लान पार्ट में उसमें एनालाइज आ जाता है, डिजाइन आ जाता है, एंड डू पार्ट में आपका इम्प्लीमेंट आ जाता है, आप इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो. सी पार्ट में आपका इवेल्युएशन हो जाता है कि आप उसे कैसे इवेल्युएट कर रहे हो, एंड फीडबैक वगैरह कैसे ले रहे हो. देन वो दैट बिकम्स द एक्ट पार्ट, दैट इज द एनालिसिस पार्ट. So if you see, all these models are something in the main context, they are going to be the same. This is one model that is also known as the GROW model, and this was given by this Sir John Whitmore. And GROW model says goal, reality, options, and will. What do we want to achieve by the end of this meeting? What is the happening now? What resources do we need? What ideas can we come up with to achieve our goal? What can we commit, and who will do it, and by when? Again, if you say this is it is also related with some kind of ADDIE model and all that. So these are the models which you can utilize in the hospital. This is the one Herzberg and the motivators and the hygiene factor. This is again one important model. यहाँ पे there are two things. One is the hygiene factors, and there second is the motivator. So you have to understand कि what are the hygiene factors and what are the this motivation factor. Hygiene factors क्या होते हैं? They are just working conditions. They may be co-worker relationship, policies, rule, and all that kind of things. And improving the motivator factors, job satisfaction may be increased. Improving the hygiene factors, decrease job dissatisfaction. You have to understand this motivator factors. They may not be important, but they are going to improve the motivation, achievement, recognition, responsibility, work itself, advancement, personal goal. They are going to increase your motivation level. And these are the conditions which are considered as the hygiene factors. If you are not getting all these kind of scenario in the workplace, then job dissatisfaction may be increased. And if you are working positively in this field, job dissatisfaction decrease. So as a leader, you have to make the balance between these hygiene factors and the motivator factors. You cannot take it one key up. You just start focusing on the hygiene factors and ignore the motivator factors. So as a leader, you have to focus on both these two concepts, hygiene factors and motivator factors. Again, it looks very simple, or sometimes you may feel it is complicated, but believe me, this is very common kind of model which we are utilizing in any organization. But we are not knowing. We are following the model, but we are actually not knowing if we are following these models. So just imply, thus you imagine this model in the practical life, you can easily identify that we are also doing this thing. Then one important thing that we should understand in any organization, that is called Johari window. It is a kind of communication window. It is a kind of matrix. There are two axes. One is the known by self, unknown by self, and other y-axis where there are known by others and the unknown by others. And direction of the arrow shows the increasing potential of that thing. So if we see in the open area में what you see? Known by self and known by others. That is open area. Means you are knowing yourself and people are also knowing you, which is very very uncommon kind of situation. Maximum time nowadays people are so much diplomatic or something like that. There is a very less scope of this open area. Then third area is that is blind area. Sometimes you are not aware, unknown by self. You are not aware about your hidden potential, but that is being known by the others. That also happens. Okay. Abhi, I will ask you, I will give you some example, then you will better understand this thing. Then the second area is that is the hidden area. Means आप अपने आप को तो जानते हो, you are able to identify your skill, your talent, your potential, but you try to hide from the others. And organization में ऐसा बहुत होता है. Some people they are very much interested or some they are very expert in the technology and all that. But when the comes कि नहीं hospital में implementation of health record होना है, they just go behind. They just hide their technological expertise because they think कि उन्होंने बता दिया तो मैक्सिमम लोड उनके ऊपर आ जाएगा. तो दिस इज ए वेरी वेरी कॉमन काइंड ऑफ phenomena in any organization. And the zone one, that is the first area, that is where you are unknown by yourself. आपको ना अपने बारे में मालूम है और ना ही आपके बारे में दूसरों को मालूम है. That is the you can say that is the most dangerous kind of area where you are also not knowing yourself and others in the community or in your the team they're also not knowing you. That is a big problem, actually big problem. Now if you see कि there are situation, there may be the situation. What are the situation? From one area to another area, if we talk about that, कि हम एक एरिया से दूसरे एरिया में कैसे जा सकते हैं. As I discussed about these four areas: open area, blind area, hidden area, and unknown area. Now we talk about change from one area to another area. Suppose there is one doctor, okay? That doctor, उसको अपने बारे में he knows कि he is very much skilled in performing the operations and all that, and their colleague also knows that, okay? कि हाँ, this particular doctor, Dr. Ramesh, is a good expert surgeon and all that. That is the open area. But from some time, this open area goes into the blind area also. Means blind area, Dr. Ramesh, he doesn't know he is a very good surgeon and all that. But his colleague, they are knowing कि यार ये तो बंदा बहुत अच्छा आदमी है. So as a true leadership, you have to identify all these attributes in your employee. He may not come with you or he is not able to tell his strength and the potential. But if you are a true leader, a true medical administrator or hospital administrator, you must identify this his blind area. He is talented but individual is not knowing that area. Then you have to bring out that particular area and you have to motivate them कि नहीं आप आपके पास ये talent है and you have to do that. And one a very common mythological examination you can example anybody can give. If anybody wants to give a very good example of this blind area person who has been told by the other कि now you have the potential to do that thing, an individual had did that. So any example if you can recollect or somebody can tell.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Sir, in Ramayana, sir, Hanumanji was Hanumanji did
Yes.
not know his power till the time he was told by his
Yeah.
colleagues. Rather, when
Hmm.
he had to swim across that sea, sir, where he had to
Yes.
do that Setu thing, sir. Then he flew and
Uh,
across and went to Lanka. So that is one classical example from mythology, sir.
yeah. Yes, very correct. I was
Sir.
just expecting कि यही answer आएगा. So this is very correct. So as a leader, you have to understand all these kind of things in your organization, and people are of this kind of thing. One more area that I have told you, that is the hidden area. And when this hidden area means you have some kind of talent, but you are hiding this talent so that people cannot take lot of work or something like that. ठीक है? Or sometimes people have some kind of anxiety or some kind of apprehension कि they have talent but they have some kind of apprehension and all that कि whether I am able to do that and all that. Again, in this stage, as a leader, as a true leader, you have to identify this issue कि individual has some potential or something like that, but because of the apprehension and the anxiety, he is not able to perform. Again, your role is there. You have to motivate them and take care of him and do something like that. In the war-like situation, maximum time we do something like that. We keep our team motivated and all that kind of things, and keep on reminding you can do that. You have so much of things and all that. Even sometimes it may be false, but there are situations we have to do that. Something like that. Okay.
Sir,
Sometimes, huh?
sir, can I ask something? Sir, in the Johari window, sir, the things are amply very clear. But sir, this unknown area, unknown by self and unknown by others, sir.
Huh.
When it is unknown by self also and unknown by others, sir, I mean, it's difficult to fathom an example of that. What are these particular areas, sir? I mean, how do you define these? Is it,
Huh. That is actually my question which you have asked. I am
sir?
coming to that thing. If you can give some example or if you can think about that, what is that particular window where you are unknown to yourself also and people are also not knowing you. What is the implication of that particular area? And that is the very good question and very good query which has been raised by the Colonel Negi. And I want you should address this thing. What is the situation? What is the implication of that area where you are not knowing yourself and people are also not knowing you?
So
Okay.
that I personally feel, suppose somebody gives you a task, uh,
Hmm.
he also does not know that the task belongs to you. Rather, he trusts when he gives somebody gives you a task. Very very
Huh.
crude examples, huh?
Huh.
And I
Okay.
also don't know, and in real sense, I do not know how to do that task. So that will be very very chaotic kind of a situation, sir. I mean, that will have everything: panic, anxiety, everything.
हाँ, नहीं वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि we can think upon that कि that particular area where that is known to everybody वहाँ पे then we have to work like a team means over a period we have to identify कि हम आपके अंदर का what is the strength, what are the potential your inside, you have to also do something like that. तो वहाँ पे ये Maslow hierarchy and all that कि आपको self आपको actualization वाली stage होनी चाहिए कि आपको पता हो कि what are the strength of that. So that can be later on that can be created. And sometimes when you are able to show some kind of potential, then only it can be visualized by the other. There is no question about. So this is particular fourth window, that is the unknown by yourself and unknown by the others. That is the typical window, and we have to think upon that. What is the practical implications of that particular window? Baki rest of the all three window, they are very much useful in the organization, and we are utilizing that also. Okay, so that is a very good thought process. We have to think upon that. This is the PDCA cycle. Later on, we will discuss in the detail about this cycle. This is the one basic quality cycle which we are using for any kind of quality improvement, whether it may be the NABH or the NQAS, National Quality Assurance Standard. वहाँ पे these are some basic tools. And if you see this model, plan, do, act, and check, that is going to be the same model. Okay. And these are the some detail about this PDCA model. I think we will cover it with some kind of example and all that. Example दिया हुआ है, but I think time is more and I should stop at this place. Okay.